The following review will take quite a while to read, and you've already seen a lot of pesticide bar. Now we're going to do a quick unboxing. The mighty Honor Magic 8 Pro, which can't be taken out. My Pro version happens to be the only cyan color that can be unlocked. That's really cool. Let's take a look at this phone's true colors. Seeing this color, I was actually a bit shocked at first. Let's put that aside for now and take a look at the accessories. I'm personally more interested in the protective case. Once you see it, you can see the structure of the camera module. When I got it in my hand, I was actually a bit surprised because the clear case has a texture. The camera module. When I actually used the phone, I was actually a bit confused. Isn't this Moonshadow Gray? I was wondering why Moonshadow Gray was so popular. Why was it gone? I didn't expect that it was just a new color scheme with some cyan added to Moonshadow Gray. The frame feels much more comfortable than the Magic 7 Pro. The transition between the two is much better, making it more comfortable to hold. After applying the cover, the frame is actually a bit straight, making it feel a bit like a cardboard cutout. I'll need to buy a new one later. Let's measure the weight for everyone. The tare weight is 243 grams. Let's peel it, remove the case, and weigh it again. The important thing? 227 grams. Isn't that exactly the same as the Magic 7 Pro? Goodness me, I didn't believe it and immediately took the Magic 7 Pro to measure it. Sure enough, they weigh exactly the same, which is quite outrageous. The Magic 8 Pro's true appearance is now revealed. It also has a multifunction AI button. The camera module is noticeably larger with a carved edge. This large camera module is truly impressive. I personally think the texture on the back of the phone is more attractive than the Magic 7 Pro. Regarding the curvature, I think it's less curved than the Magic 7 Pro, closer to a flat screen. The front of the phone is still very impressive. Let me talk about the user experience here. The moment I touched it, I could really feel that it felt better to hold than the 7 Pro. Although it also has a straight edge, the connection is curved, unlike the 7 Pro, which is straight, but its curvature is lower than that of the 7 Pro, so its gesture operation is not as slippery as the 7 Pro. And you may not have noticed, its size is actually a whole circle smaller than the 7 Pro, so the overall grip feels much better. In the end, in terms of design, there haven't been many changes. In terms of ergonomics, it has indeed become better this time, both in terms of grip and feel. Rating systems. We've already covered the features, and now we're going to discuss some of their specific functions, breaking them down one by one. First, let's talk about music. Many people are concerned about the height of the speakers, so let's put them in a familiar position and listen. The vibrations are also very strong, and I don't think the overall sound quality has been affected by the update. Next, the truest feedback. You can see here, I've maxed out everything in the game assistant, and for some reason, the frame rate is stuck at 60. I remember it used to be at 90, or am I mistaken? As for the graphics quality, I've set it to the highest setting, and there's no doubt about that. We'll play for half an hour to see the current heat level, smoothness, and resolution. Honestly, I feel like there's a slight drop in resolution, especially after consecutive battles. The smoothness was decent with no noticeable frame drops. I finally managed to play for nearly half an hour before finally defeating the boss for the first time. Let's take a look at the phone's temperature right now. I'm the most impartial and objective when it comes to reviews, and there's no doubt about that. Regarding the temperature, let's take a look. The top is 43 degrees Celsius, while the middle reaches 45 degrees Celsius. Honestly, these aren't ideal temperatures, they're just average. I went out and took some telephoto night shots. From my perspective, the imaging isn't optimized enough. I guess we'll have to wait until the Magic 8 is released. I'll save it for later. Next up is the battery life, which everyone cares about the most. I think there was a bug with the first update, which told me I'd been on it for over 20 hours, so I chose a time of 11:59 to see if it would return to normal overnight. Otherwise, I'd be hard-pressed to measure the battery life. Tick, 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 time flies, and it's already midnight. Not bad, you can see the time has returned to 0 minutes. Then we fully charged the battery and began a 1-month battery life test. You can see the screen on time is now 41 minutes. So here we go, it's 1:24 p.m. Time flies as the first rays of morning sunlight stream into the room. Now let's see, it's 8:36 a.m. A little over 7 hours and 10 minutes have passed, and the remaining battery is still at 100%. This standby battery life is actually better than I expected. Then, as usual, we continue charging. I charge for 10 minutes and the time is 8:46 a.m. The screen on time is 43 minutes. So I began my day's screen on time test. As usual, we always play 2 games of Honor of Kings during each test to simulate a normal day. At noon, the battery was at 50% and the screen on time was only 5 hours and 29 minutes. That's quite impressive considering that it was only a little over 4 hours and only half the battery was used. Then I went out that afternoon. During my battery life tests, I usually spend about 2 hours using a mobile network. On my way home at 7:29 p.m., the phone was already dead. Back home, let's see how long the screen on time was. It was 9:55 p.m. Seeing this time might have given you a slight chill. Don't worry, it's normal, you'll get used to it. The screen on time was 8 hours and 33 minutes. Subtracting the previous 43 minutes, it comes to 7 hours and 50 minutes. Personally, I think this performance is pretty average. But don't worry, this is just a beta test and many areas are still unstable.
With the public beta and patches later, things should improve. I'll also take this opportunity to test the charging speed. It took 26 minutes to charge, the temperature reached 40 degrees Celsius, and the battery reached 75%. At 43 minutes, it reached 98%, and finally, after 50 minutes, it reached 100%. Finally, charging that 2% battery level did take quite a while, and that's pretty average, right? And MagicOs 10 features a transparency mode in the desktop settings with adjustable transparency levels. When transparency mode is enabled, large folders, app icons, app cards, and secondary display cards on the desktop all become transparent. A new dock bar has also been added below the desktop, which can be closed and also features a transparent effect, giving the overall effect a bit like iOS's liquid glass. This transparency mode is arguably the biggest highlight of MagicOs 10. Fourthly, within the settings, some icons have been redrawn, such as those for display and brightness and accessibility. Fifthly, the control center has undergone significant changes. The shortcut switches in the control center can now be edited, allowing users to add or delete cards and shortcut switches. A new shutdown shortcut switch has also been added to the top right corner of the control center. Additionally, the swiping logic in the control center has changed. Previously, swiping only worked on the blank areas on either side. Now, swiping anywhere in the control center switches between the control center and the notification shade. Sixthly, the Turbo X engine has been added, which can compress storage space and accelerate purchases. This is perfect for grabbing limited purchase items, concert tickets, and other items. Seventh, you can now disable Smart RAM in the About Phone menu. This feature has been a long-awaited request and it's finally here. Eighth, background tasks can now be stacked, though the stacking card isn't very practical yet. Ninth, changes to the camera interface. On the MagicOs 10, when you open the camera interface, swipe the arrow above the camera button to display the image menu in 2 rows, compared to the previous single row. Additionally, you can edit the status bar at the top of the camera interface, selecting the functions you want to place at the top. Currently, only 6 functions are supported. 10th, progress bars have been added to media playback cards like music on the lock screen, allowing you to adjust playback directly from the lock screen. 11th, Android's native ultra dark mode has been added. Select accessibility in settings, then select accessibility and swipe down to see ultra dark mode. 12th, in call settings you can set incoming call notifications to banner or full screen, so banner notifications don't interrupt your current app. 13th, the side notification bar has been changed from a single bar to a dual column display. 14th, in terms of security, image phantom connection detection has been added.